Ready? Okay. Open the meeting with pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, the first item tonight is the consent agenda. We have the council minutes from June 4th, EDA minutes from June 10th, community center from June 10th, the library board from June 11th, and then there's 2 license applications, exempt gambling permit, American Legion on August 27th and August 10th.
7th through the 10th.
Oh, August, through the 10th, okay.
Yeah, 7th.
Yeah, okay. And then we have the regular bills, and we're gonna add one item, that'll be included under new business, and that'll be a resolution to approve the application for Department of Public Safety Emergency Communications Network proposal to equipment grant program. Okay,
I'll make the motion to accept.
okay.
I'll second.
Motion by Jim, second by Scott. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay. We have any department heads tonight that would like to speak?
Kristen Porth, Windom Ambulance. I just wanted to take a quick opportunity to remind the council on Thursday is an open house from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. for Tim Hacker and Kim Powers, retiring from our service as of July 1st. So encourage you guys and anybody in the public to stop down to our building and wish them well in their retirement and congratulate them on their 60 plus years of service, combined service to our ambulance.
Thank you. Okay, our next item is a resolution accepting donations from the Fire Department Fire Relief Association.
Ben Derrickson, Fire Chief. In front of you, we've making a proposal for you guys to accept a donation from the Windom Relief Association for a Hummingbird Helix 12 and a Hummingbird Bird Mega 360. These are accessories that we're putting on our new boat that we bought after this spring. After having a few water rescue calls, we've decided that this equipment is much needed for our boat. We've done some research on it and decided the Hummingbird was the best fit for our department, with a value of $4,716.38. I'm just asking you to accept that donation.
Would you want to explain what a hummingbird is?
What it is it's sonar equipment, so we can basically see in the water what we're going over. We've got 2 different pieces of sonar on it. One of them has a really wide range of up to about a 200-foot diameter, and then the Live 360 has a lot better graphics and a smaller range of about 50 to 70 foot diameter. Just some equipment to help hopefully make these recoveries, if we ever have them again, faster.
I'll make a motion to accept the donation to the fire department.
I would second.
Okay, roll call, Esplin,
Yes.
Benson,
Yes.
Quaid,
Yes.
Nelson, Grunig.
Next item is, this ordinance number 199, second series.
Todd Severson, Building and Zoning. Staff recommends that the City Council take the following action regarding a proposed new ordinance. Excuse me. Approved by motion the second reading of Ordinance 199, second series, adding new language to City Code Chapters 90 and 152 as recommended by the Planning Commission, excuse me, and approved by the city attorney. Approved by motion the proposed title and summary of ordinance 199 second series for publication in lieu of publishing the entire ordinance by at least a 4-5 vote of the council.
I would make the motion to approve the second reading of ordinance number 199, second series.
I'll second it.
Motion by Marv, second by Scott. And, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, the next,
Do we also need the motion? Can I make the motion that we approve the proposed title and summary of ordinance 199 second series for publication in lieu of publishing the entire ordinance?
I'll second it.
motion by Jenny, second by Jim. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Good evening, Tiffany Lamb, EDA Director. I have two items before the council tonight. Both are related. First, I'll go through a supplemental agreement to the existing contract for private redevelopment that we have with the contractor Voss Plumbing and Heating of Paynesville related to the new subdivision. Early in 2021, the city received a deed redevelopment grant for redevelopment of that site. In connection with that, that went out to bid for the demolition, and Voss Plumbing and Heating was the successful party on that. They've been undergoing the demolition out there for the last several years here. And at this point, we're coming towards the end of the term for the deed redevelopment grant. We need to get out prior to the end of the state's fiscal year on June 30th. The final pay request related to the redevelopment activities, specifically the demolition of the site. And as such, we did prepare that pay request in coordination with DGR Engineering and with the demolition contractor as well. In doing so, we did find that as of the date we requested on June 7th of this year, that there was some seeding that had not been completed that is intended to be completed before the term closes out, but could not yet be invoiced at the time that we needed to do this pay request. So to allow for sufficient time to get this invoice in to deeds, to get that turned around before the end of the fiscal year, we had requested a supplemental agreement with the contractor, with the developer. And this was specifically at the request of DGR, of the city engineer. That was their recommendation for kind of how to bridge the gap between the invoice date and the actual work, while ensuring that the work actually gets done. Now, the substance of the supplemental agreement is that they will still complete all of that work according to the schedule that we've had in our amendment to the existing contract with them. We will be able to then invoice still to deed on the correct timeline, and we'll be able to have some protection for that. This agreement allows for us to retain $60,000 out of the last pay request to ensure that that final finish work, which relates specifically to seeding, still occurs at the site. So tonight I am requesting approval on that supplemental agreement before we go forward with that last certificate of payment towards Voss.
The supplemental agreement was approved by the Economic Development Board, correct?
So this did not go before the EDA board. I did mention this at that time. It was still being worked out between the parties. Now, this has been reviewed by the city attorney, the city engineer, EDA staff, and by the contractor, by the developer, to ensure that it is acceptable to all parties. And so, no, it has not gone through the EDA board, but was mentioned in substance at that time.
Well, I guess I would make the motion to approve the supplemental agreement number 1 for the Simstone plant site demolition project.
I'll second.
Okay. Done.
Thank you. So the second item then that... Thank you. So the second item that I have before you tonight is the final certificate for payment related to the demo work, the site demolition work. This will be included in the final pay request on that deed redevelopment grant, and includes all final pay requests towards that.
This says payment number 4, but this is the final payment.
Yes,
Okay.
that is accurate.
All right.
We've previously approved payments totaling the sum of $192,850. The total of their bid for the site demolition had been $400,350, and so it'll bring that up to that total.
Does repairing the road part of this, or is that part of the supplemental?
So that is not included within the certificate for payment. Anything that relates to the public street is either at the cost of the developer or was included within the TIF. There was an upfront TIF on this property of $400,000, and the sum of that was intended to be towards the purchase price, the lift station, including the backup generator, water service, sewer service, electric, and the street. And so there has been contribution, a local match by the city previously in the form of that upfront TIF. We will see then revenues into the TIF district that are coming in, and we'll ultimately have revenues back from that. However, anything that it has to do with the street that the city would have been putting in is specifically from that TIF.
Short answer is that is the developer's responsibility to replace and fix that road.
I'll make a motion to make the final payment to Voss Engineering or for the TIF thing, yeah.
I'll second that.
Motion by Scott, second by James. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Thank you.
Next item is a street committee.
Good evening, John Kitzberg, Streets and Parks Superintendent. We had some surplus vehicles and equipment sold, and I would like to have the money kind of put back into the funds and everything for the street department. I'd like to purchase an 84-inch angle broom from GDF for $7,666.04, and the remaining of the money to be put in the Island Park Shelter Fund, so we can complete some of that project and move ahead a little bit. We're still going to be a little short. I'll have to work with you guys again down the road because of the concrete and extra flood proofing that we're going to be having to do down there. And DLI did come back with the plumbing approval today, so we're waiting on Sabota to start doing some dirt work and install the sewer and water.
So just for everybody's clarification, when surplus equipment is sold, that goes to the general fund. And John is asking that instead of being routed back to the general fund, it just gets routed to these two projects. So that's the request that he's making.
Correct. Like I say, the sweeper broom was $7,066.04. It'd be the remainder, approximately $9,653, would be going back to the Island Park Shelter Fund.
I'll make a motion to accept the street department's recommendation.
I would second.
Motion by Scott, second by Jenny. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Thank you guys very much. I do have a couple other things. 2 plow trucks have shown up today. We're missing one yet. It was in the shop kind of figuring out a battery draw. And I'd like to say thank you to Isaac Jurgens Glenn, Tyler Fogled, and Kayla Herding on their Eagle Achievement stuff, helping out in Mayflower Park, doing a little cleanup and moving some brush around and taking care of some of that down there.
These plow trucks are them the ones we named?
Yes, they are. So I'll be talking to somebody here shortly when we get the third one in, and we can have some pictures taken and show them off a little bit.
That was my first question too, is which 2 showed up, like name-wise?
Thank you guys. Have a good night.
Next item is community center.
Tim Snyder, Community Center Director. I got a couple action items here. Community Center Commission recommends that the City Council approve the quote from New Tech of $5,750 for purchasing a new floor scrubber. We have had, well, that floor scrubber has been up there for quite a few years, and parts are obsolete to get for it. The efficiency of the job has really gone down to about zero. We've been talking about this with our commission for the last few months. This is actually about $4,000 less than what they approved 4 months ago. I knew if we kept looking around, we'd find a better deal on one, and Mitch Vale, who's on our commission, recommended we go over and talk to this one, and I think this is going to be a much better floor scrubber for us. It'll speed the whole process up. At this point, you got to walk really, really slow, or it doesn't pick up the water, and then you're going back and mopping. So this one was chosen due to the fact that it does have a 5-year part and 2-year labor warranty for it. So that's what kind of made this one stand out a little better. Local company, they'll be able to repair if hopefully not needed, but be a lot closer for us to get someone to fix it. Currently, we have to call Sioux Falls to come over and fix ours. Oh, this is coming out of we have a building reserve fund that has money set aside for it for equipment or building things. It will come from that fund. There's enough money to cover the cost of the floor scrubber.
I'll make a recommendation to accept the request for the floor scrubber for the community center.
I'll second.
Motion by Scott, second by Jim. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Thank you. The second one we have, this is on our capital improvement plan for 2024. It is replacing 10 tables. We looking around through various options. The Event Stable Company, we're going to be replacing 10 round and 10 rectangle. Our tables, they go up and go down 4 or 5 times, and wear and tear over the past 20 years has kind of taken its toll on a few. The $20 is actually, it's $20 less per table that we're saving by buying 10 of these. They were willing to work with us, and free shipping. A lot of the other companies, the shipping was the cost of about 7 of the tables. So I think if we can get this going and we'll start replacing some of them now, we have about 7, 8 of the round tables that the brackets makes the tables kind of wobbly. So it's time to kind of replace some of those that are breaking down.
And I believe, Tim, you had 2,500 in your capital budget from
Right.
this year, and then the balance of it, the 1,400 and change, would also come from then your operational budget, correct?
Correct.
Well, you make it awful easy, so I'll make the motion to approve the purchase of the tables.
I'll second it.
Motion by Marv, second by Scott. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item is a resolution on Highway 60.
Okay, so in your packet, I've got a memo. The resolution for the proposed layout, you had the public hearing at the last meeting on June 4th. The resolution is attached in your packet. There's 3 parts to this resolution from what we heard at the last meeting. One is that the final layout proposed by MnDOT for the restriping is not going to be approved, and municipal consent is denied. Item 2 is installation of the traffic lights is approved with a cost share of the city of blank. There was some discussion on the council of what that number to be, so I just left it a blank so you could have that discussion this evening. And then the third piece of the resolution is City Council formally requests that MnDOT remove the temporary trial striping project and restore Highway 60 to the 4-lane cross-section south of Highway 62. That was my understanding from what I heard from you at the last meeting. So that's the way this ordinance has, or this resolution has been drafted. So if you have other comments, questions, thoughts on it, you can certainly have that discussion, but for sure I do need a number to fill in the blank. The request or the policy from MnDOT is that 50% of the traffic light cost for the Highway 7160 and 10th Street intersection would be up on the city, because there's two legs of traffic from the city and there's two legs of traffic from MnDOT. That cost is rated at $177,000. The traffic light at McDonald's, which is Highway 62, 6th Street, and then Highway 6071, that is 3/4 MnDOT and 1/4 county state aid road, so the city doesn't have any input or any contribution for that. As you recall, we did apply for that carbon grant from MnDOT that was going to reduce part of the cost for the traffic signals. That was considered by MnDOT and was approved, but with the caveat that it needed to be tied to the restriping project, as that was where they saw the carbon reduction. So if you vote no on the municipal consent for that portion of the project, then that grant is not in play. So that's kind of where I'm looking for a number here, because when you had your discussions with MnDOT, there was considerable discussion. People thought that was either equitable or it was not, and whatever number I put in here would be wrong, so I left it as a blank so you can all have that discussion this evening.
And the crossing on 10th Street several times, I've come up with either between 10 and 20 to 1 on the highway to what's on 10th Street. That's, if you think, give the benefit of the doubt on say 10 to 1, 10 on the highway, 1 on 10th Street, that would give you 20% of that 177,000, which would give you that 35,400.
Correct.
That's something that I could live with on that, but I couldn't live with anything more than that. And I would like to say that I consider the striping in South Windom out by the Quick Trip to be a failure. And I'd definitely like to see that go back to 4-lane.
Well, I guess I would add that as far as the striping, I think the striping will negatively impact the Windom citizens way beyond what it might accomplish in improved traffic flow. As a test, I drove the highway multiple times on multiple days, and what I came up with is it takes between 4 minutes and 6 seconds and 5 minutes and 1 second to travel from the South Highway 71 intersection to John Codwell Drive, with the average of 4.5 minutes. Restriping will not improve that number very much, as I see it, because when I drove it, and I stopped for the traffic lights, I got stuck behind the semis, and I got behind somebody that's making a left turn, and it only takes 4.5 minutes to go through town. By restriping, you're still got to stop for the stoplights. You have to drive the posted speed, and you can get trapped behind slower traffic without a lane to pass, without that second lane. So I think any traffic flow improvement by restriping would be really minimal compared to the difficulty of making left turns or crossing at anywhere other than the stoplights. So I definitely am not in favor of that. But as far as the stoplights, I think I'm willing to do the 50-50. They've been there 30 years, installed in '84. The city did 50-50 back then, what I've been informed. My only thought was, as long as it was consistent statewide, that it was the same in Windom, Mankato, Rochester, and St. Paul. I've been assured that it is. That's policy. Those streetlights have been hit multiple times over the years. I can remember one time that our police department had to run down a corn dryer because the stoplights from the intersection in the center took a ride in the corn dryer. So I think replacing the lights is a maintenance issue. If we don't do the maintenance, then we have a liability issue. And so I think the number we should put in there is the 50-50 number of 177,000. Yep.
What is wrong with that stoplight right now? What doesn't work? Every time I go up there, I get stopped, you know. I mean, I realize it's been there 30 years. Some of us have been around a lot longer than that. We're still functioning pretty well. So, I don't know why, you know, a stoplight's a stoplight. You can't make them stop. You can only put the light, I don't care, you put it all the way across, but maybe you should have some kind of flashers where it comes up where it says, hey, look, you know, you better get ready to stop.
The only thing you have to do is look at the basins and the rust around the basins, and it tells you that it's time, and there's been a couple of them that have been swaying in the wind several times, so and they need to be replaced.
I also agree with Marv, the striping and the voice of Windom people have been said loud and clear that they want their 4-lane back. They've tried working with this restriping and it doesn't work for them and they're not happy with it. And I understand you're not going to make everybody happy with everything we do here, but the voice was loud and clear that night that they would like to have their 4-lane back, so that would give options out there by Quick Trip, what lane you want to get into and get out of. Truckers can go to different lanes, and it just gives you options and a sense of security that we got 4 lanes going through town. That's what we had when Quick Trip, before Quick Trip. During Quick Trip, we should have 4 lanes, and the finish of Quick Trip, we still should have 4 lanes going through, because all the other towns going all the way up to the cities kept 4 lanes. So I do agree with that, and the stoplights are old and outdated. We need new ones there because they are tired. I don't agree with the 50-50, but I will be more than willing to sign off on that.
I too, I think, I thank all the public for coming out and speaking and telling us their opinions. I think that's, the council, we kind of all know where the public stood that evening. And so I think that helps us make our decision easier by hearing pretty much a unanimous voice of the community for what they want. So I think we need to follow that and say no to the striping, and that the citizens want the striping back to the 4-lane out by Quick Trip. And I'm fine with the 50-50 on the traffic signals.
I would just add on that number 3 about asking for the removal of the striping that has already been placed beyond the 6th Street intersection, that I've seen a couple times now, that where somebody wants to turn, make the left-hand turn into the liquor store, and the way it's striped, it backs the traffic up into the intersection, so you have vehicles heading south against the stoplight, and east-west traffic has a green with nowhere to go, and it doesn't work. And out by Quick Trip, trying to make a left turn out of there is just dangerous for the truckers. So I think that should be all removed also.
When would we hear on any of the, when we do vote on this, when would we hear anything back as far as what date of action do we have to, will we give them or will they give us? As far as that,
I guess I can't answer that for MnDOT. Mary Loeffler is here from MnDOT if you wanted her to answer that question, but there is action that MnDOT can take. If you pass the resolution not providing municipal consent, then MnDOT has the option essentially to either do nothing to make changes and bring it back to the municipal for municipal consent, or to go to like an appeals board. So there are different avenues that MnDOT can exercise after your vote. But there's no set time frame on when that has to be done. Now, if it does go to appeals board, then there are time stamps in statute. But if they decide to do it in a week, they can do it in a week. If they want to do it in 3 years, they can do it in 3 years. So basically the ball does go back into their court. So depending on how you vote on that number 2 item in the resolution, I assume if it's for the full 50% funding as MnDOT policy states, that then they will continue to keep working on that project and we'll have correspondence and move that forward. If you choose something less than that, I anticipate other discussions with that group.
well, let's get to it.
Well, I would introduce the resolution regarding MnDOT's Trunk Highway 60 layout proposal with number 2, the traffic signal, that amount being the 50-50 cost share, the $177,000.
I'll second that.
I agree 100% on everything you're saying except for the dollar amount. I can't live with that, so I'm going to be opposing this resolution for that reason. Any other discussion on this? I guess it's the resolution, right?
Yep. Okay, we'll do roll call. Sorry. Jim? Quaid?
Yes.
Benson?
Yes.
Grunig?
Yes.
Esplin? No. Okay.
Okay, our next item is personnel hiring recommendation for the pool.
Tim Hogan, Recreation Director. We just have a couple of staff that have come through. One for pool that has received their lifeguard certification. Would like to bring them aboard. Anytime that we have anybody get certified for that position, we'd definitely like to offer them a job as they're very much needed. the second one under the Recreation Department, Tyler Mars has already been approved as hired as a lifeguard, and he would also like to help out with the recreational ball program. And so this is just kind of making the paperwork straight for payroll purposes to include him in that department for me for the ball help. I do have one additional individual that I would be asking the council to approve. Previously, we had recommended that two people be involved with the arena for part-time seasonal staff down there. They have received their paperwork, but you have yet to complete it and turn it in. So those two hires still have not gotten the information down to City Hall, and we've not been able to schedule them any hours, and it doesn't sound promising that those two individuals would be working for us this summer. Sunday, I had a family contact me that I believe is helping out a certain individual that I would like to bring on board to cover that position. So I would recommend from the council tonight to just approve this all through this recommendation that Alex Corey be hired for the arena position to help out with everything that we need down at the arena as far as custodial, horse show, stall cleaning, different things like that for that position, as we just have not gotten any confirmation that the other two that already have been approved to be working or putting any hours. If you wish, I would be more than happy to put in a new memo at the next meeting, but if you would be so kind to agree to approve it tonight, that would be extremely helpful for me down there.
I'd make a motion to hire all three recommendations that you have for us for pool, rec, and arena.
I'll second it.
Motion by Jenny, second by Scott. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item under new business is a resolution that I brought up under the consent agenda. And I have the resolution in front of me, so I can read it.
It's handed out at everybody's spot. They've got one in front of them.
Oh, okay.
What it would be for is to, as you stated at the beginning of the meeting, a resolution to approve the application for Department of Public Safety Communications Network proposal for 24 through 2026 RMAR Equipment Grant Program. And this would be doing radio replacements for the ambulance department. They're looking at, that's been on their CIP for a couple of years. It's up for 2025. This grant opportunity came up, and so we're going to see if we can take a shot at it to do that. We would like to replace all of the radios. That way they all get done at the same time. There's consistency in training for all of the staff, and then you also have all exact same units, same age, things like that. So the kind of grant deadline snuck up on us a little bit, but what we're envisioning is a 50-50 match. The radio quote, I believe that Chris has, is $122,000, and we would go in for up to, what's in this resolution is up to $65,000 as match, and the other would be requested from the state of Minnesota. The match threshold they've got in the grant is a little bit higher, but they're also looking at smaller awards. And so we were kind of stretching the boundaries on the amount of the award. So we thought if we did a little better on the match on it, we'd stand a better chance with the state. So, and they do have monies in their reserve fund to fund this capital project. So that's where that would come from. Good enough? Okay.
Yeah, what Steve said is accurate. This grant become available, and the timeline, it's due on June 28th. So in that paperwork, it wasn't real clear that they wanted either a resolution showing that the city would have funds to support the grant, or a letter just saying that we had funds, and we thought a resolution would be more formal way to go and look better on our behalf to have that resolution signed and sent in with our application.
Thank you.
So I would introduce a resolution to approve the application for the Armor Equipment Grant Program.
I'll second it.
Motion by Mars, second by Scott. This is a resolution, so.
Grunig. Benson.
Yes.
Quaid.
Yes.
Esplin.
Yes.
Nelson.
I guess I would also thank everybody that came out to the public hearing on the highway project. It was definitely helpful.
I guess I'd like to say the same thing. I was real pleased with everybody turning out and speaking their mind. I don't think the council was too far off from what your thoughts were in the whole thing, so thank you for coming out and giving us the support. Jenny?
I have just want to thank everybody that was a part of Riverfest and people that volunteered for Riverfest. I think we had good weather, so that helped. We had good crowds. It was nice to see a lot of people coming to Windom. The Lions Dance, I thought that went well too. I think the Lions Club put on a good event down there. I'm excited to see progress and start to work on our Island Park shelter now. So I know it won't be quite as swanky as the Teagles Park shelter that the Lions Club did, but we are going to plan on having bathrooms there, countertop. You know, it's going to be a very nice shelter when it's done. So it's nice to see that we're moving in that direction for that. I'm also glad that 2 of the 3 plow trucks showed up, so we're going to get to see them. Hopefully we don't need them as being plow trucks till 2025 later. And then also coming up Friday, the Windom Area Health is having a fundraising golf tournament to support their new mental health unit. And I plan on having a team in that on Friday. So hopefully the weather holds out and support the Windom Area Health.
Scott, you have anything?
Yeah, I also want to thank the Riverfest committee and the participants and the citizens of Windom for coming out to the community center to give us guidance which way to go with the MnDOT. And I also want to give a shout out to our City of Windom employees. They're doing a great job of helping everybody out on what their own little areas and what they need to take care of, and so our city runs smooth, so there is no hiccups that we got going on around here. But I want to hats off to all you guys, and just want to say thank you for all the hard work you guys put into around here, because it takes an army to make this city work decent. And I just want to say thank you guys. And with the weather coming around, watch the rivers, watch the streams, watch your backyards, because you can get ponding, you can get flooding real quick now with everything on where it's sitting right now. Just be careful out there, because we had some tragedies happen not too long ago, and we don't want no more to happen out. But just keep an eye out for everybody, because with kids out running around in the yards and the stuff, they get away real quick. So just keep an eye out for each other and take care of each other. Thank you very much.
Okay, Steve, you have anything?
Just a reminder to thank you to Tim Hacker and Kim Powers for their many, many years of service on the Windom EMT squad. Their open house is Thursday, so make sure you swing by there and tell them thank you very much for their service.
Okay, we will adjourn.